Before we get into today's mailbag, help me get to 25,000 followers on Twitter, X, whatever the hell we're calling it. It'll always be Twitter to me. I'm an old man. Hit that follow button and hit up my DMs if you have questions too, because that way it's not, annoying bots and spam ads all in the DMs. So at @WhatGoingDowney on Twitter. Steven Goltz, which team has the better GM, the Cowboys or the Mavericks? So first off, the bar's here with the Cowboys. That's actually stuck for here. They do some good stuff. But it is Jerry. You know how hard that is to be the most hated GM/ownership group in the Dallas area? Nico sucks. And it's at the point I think he's doing it on purpose now. Because he keeps saying every time he speaks, he says something more stupid and worse than what it was previously. So for me, it's the Cowboys, and it ain't even close, which is insane. Mighty Ant0215, would you double dip at corner if we got a corner in round 2 or in 3, like in your mock draft and Mel's mocks? And thoughts on Jourdan Hancock out of Ohio State to replace J. Lou at nickel? I think in general, with 7 day 3 picks that are all at 149 or later, double dipping makes sense. That's not an issue for me at all. I think that's actually a good idea. Because at that point, just take the best player on your board. You're not going to fill needs instant starters, so just go guys you like at that point. I've got Jourdan Hancock in the 5th round, 163. I think he is a good, if you miss out on guys like Upton Stout or, Jacob Parrish or other nickel options, that name does stand out to me as a possibility. This guy could be a good fit at nickel corner. And I would be down to double dip. I think you could do it at a bunch of spots. Trench play. If you go 2 linebackers on day 3, two backs, take one in the 3rd, take one in the 6th, that's all fine. Now that came in via Super Thanks, a feature here on YouTube. Allows you to donate outside of live videos. Simply click the thanks icon, edit your message, and send them whatever. We appreciate your support here on the Cowboys Report. Anytime you do a Super Thanks, we will give you a shout out. If you do it during the draft, it'll be on our next live show afterwards. OH6 Gaming. Hey, Tom. Love the show. Just wondering, what if the Cowboys don't trade down the 1st, stick and pick wide receiver? What would it take with other day 3 picks to trade up in the 4th? Thanks. You could package your 5s and move up. But if you're trying to keep that early 5th round pick, it gets a little bit challenging. You can get back into the 4th round. I am curious how teams in general view this draft class. Do they like it on day 3? Do they want extra draft picks? Can you trade down in the 2nd or 3rd and get a 4th round pick back too? Take no round 1 trade makes it a bit tricky to get easy pick assets because that's the more valuable ones. You can package some day 3 picks. I just want to hope it's you can't trade all your 6 and all your 7s to go get a 4. Nobody wants that. That's not going to be beneficial. Even if it works on the trade chart, it's not how NFL teams actually operate. So what will the Cowboys do in round 1? N for no trade, U for they'll trade up, D for they trade down. Get those predictions in at the pinned comment of today's show. The ad comes here on YouTube. Take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. Jenkins Gaming. What's the trade value if we move down to number 19? So I'm using the updated trade value chart on this one here. So it's not as expensive to trade up as it is on some of the older models that don't quite get utilized as much in most cases. The rough trade value there is a very, very early 3rd. Now, maybe a team just says, maybe the Cowboys take less. That's not how they tend to operate, though. Maybe a team overpays, like you had happen last year when the Lions overpaid on both trade charts, frankly, to move up. But early 3rd value is kind of what you're staring down there, which at that point, specifically with Tampa at pick number 19, they could package 84 and their 4th. This is, again, on the trade value chart, and it works out pretty closely to get a 3 and a 4. I don't know if either team would do that, but that's about the rough value. From Jace, who would be the safest and riskiest wide receiver to take in round 1? So I'm going to treat this as safest and riskiest relative to the bust potential of what if these guys are just bad? I think the safest is Emeka Egbuka. I don't think his ceiling is as high. I think he's just going to be a quality wide receiver too, who is going to be like a Bobby Trees type for you. How much you value that, I think is a fair question. But I see fewer potential debilitating flaws in Ibuka's game. I just don't know if there's like an elite, truly dominant trait that you covet as a potential wide receiver one. I think the riskiest then, probably either Golden or Burden. I think there are flaws with both guys. I think Burden in some of the yak-heavy stuff is not a quality profile. I think that was an offensive issue more than anything else at Missouri. But I think that's a valid concern over him of like, is he a gadgety guy? Can he do a full route tree, or do you have to scheme for him? Because if you have the right coach and you can scheme for him, unlimited potential. Look at how Debo was. Not saying the same guys, but Rashee Rice had the same concerns for me, where he was a 4 dot guy, but he cooked once he got the ball in his hands. And then I think Golden's production is statistically some of the lightest you'd have in round one. Now, with that said, I have both Golden and Burden over Emeka Egbuka because I think the upside and the potential is so much greater. Both Golden and Burden are top 20 players for me in this class. So with the way the class shakes out, and once you start like cutting off like, well, this guy's not a need for us, this guy's not a need for us, assuming they don't take Burden, I'm probably higher him than most, then he gets to like top 5 guys on the board at 12. Golden's a no-brainer in that conversation for me. So, today's show is made possible by PrizePicks. It is the best place to turn your sports knowledge into cash. With millions of members, PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks. Cash in on the basketball playoffs, or you could do season-long football or baseball is available too. But it's your last chance to add your favorite players from the court to the PrizePicks lineup. With its points, rebounds, assists, take your pick of more or less. Shows up to 2,000 times your cash today. PrizePicks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. Join millions of users and sign up today. I'm going with the less than on all 3 of these because I don't think the Lions' offense is going to be as good. So less than Jared Goff passing yards. Travis Kelce less than receiving yards because Rashee Rice get into a lot of his touches and targets as the Chiefs get him back healthy. And I don't think the Commanders want to have Jaden Daniels run as much. So less than on that one as well. The flex play means I can get one wrong, by the way, and still cash out. So go download the PrizePicks app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Link will be in the comments section and the description of today's show. It's prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS. LSU Tigers, who could be this year's Mazi Smith pick? I asked this before. Look, by definition, isn't it Kenneth Grant? A Michigan defensive tackle who's very traitsy, but the production hasn't matched up yet. I think that's the analogy there. The Mazi pick was like filling a lesser priority need position with a not first-round grade, so I surprised Jahad Campbell, but I actually like Campbell a lot. It's like I think it kind of is Kenneth Grant. I don't think guard would fit in that category. There's not a lot that I think would really shock me unless they trade down, in which case kind of the entire board changes. Godden Gaines, would you double dip at running back like Henderson and Tahj Brooks since our running backs suck? I would be down with that. Henderson's your explosive back, Brooks is more your power back. I think like going opposites, third down pass catcher, explosive back, and early down power back, that makes sense. I think they could survive if they didn't with what they have, but I would not be mad at a double dip at all, especially with how deep this draft class is. Carter, why do many people keep trying to trade Dak? Simple. They don't know what they're talking about. There's a reason why, as much uncertainty with, hey, where the hell is Shedeur Sanders going to go? No one actually links him to the Dallas Cowboys. Nobody. And the reason is because there's zero actual valid football reason for why it would happen. There's zero actual valid football reason right now with why the Cowboys are trading away Dak Prescott. They're not eating $100+ million to not have the quarterback on their roster when they just hired the head coach who they think is right guy because of the quarterback. Like, you don't hire the quarterback's OC and go, okay, now we're going to trade the QB. It doesn't make any football sense. None. The only sense is like clickbait and Jerry does weird thing, which Jerry doesn't make decisions as much anymore. So that's my mindset. What is your confidence level in Dak Prescott? Scale it for me from 1 to 10. 1 on the low end, 10 on the high end. Jariah Jones, today's Jack Sawyer. He gets high on you, and the space he invades, he gets by on you. What a pull! Great song, too. Is that Smashing Pumpkins? Is that right? I think it's Smashing Pumpkins. Now I have to Google this on the fly here. But that is a fantastic song. Rush. It's Rush. Damn it. I think it was the other one. Anyway, good pull there, Jerry. Go take your pills. Brendan, interested in trading for a veteran back. If you don't go running back early, yeah. Like, if you don't get one in round 1, round 2, that probably means a lot of other backs went in round 1 and round 2 and round 3. And those teams probably now have a player that they don't need as much anymore. And that's where I would shop for a veteran running back in a trade. Absolutely. I think there's a good chance they get one at least by the third, though. Tyler, how would you feel if Dallas traded down multiple times mid to late first to get Burden? You missed on McMillan and Golden, but Burden has traits like Debo, Jamar with size, speed, and yak. Probably wouldn't put him in the Jamar Chase convo, but look, I know I'm different on this one, and I'm not going to ding the Cowboys or anyone else for not feeling the same way. I like Burden a lot. I loved him in 2023. This year was not as good. I think this is also a class in general where a lot of the top players, some of their best stuff was in 2023. I think Burden is in that category. I think his quarterback was terrible. I think the offense knew his QB was bad, and they went, let's just get him the ball in space and see what happens. I think that was like the mindset there. So I get more picks. I would probably try to trade away some of my day 3 picks in the process. But if the Cowboys took Burden, even at 12, I would not be mad at it. I might be alone on that, but I would not be upset with it. We'll have more Dallas Cowboys coverage for you, not just during the draft and after, but from now until I can no longer do this. Hit that sub button at youtube.com/@CowboysTV. And if the Cowboys don't take a back in round 1 or 2, just take Alfred Collins in the second or running back. So I think he means Collins in the third. I would be strongly tempted by Collins in the third. That's just on my board with where I have him. He is at second, third round grade, top 65. I've only got the big 4 backs: Genty, Hampton, Henderson, big 5, Genty, Hampton, Henderson, Johnson, Judkins over him. So BPA would be Collins, but I would like to get a running back. The way I'd feel better is I'm going to trade a future pick for a 4th and take one. Or trade up to go get a 4th. Like that's how I justify it. Daniel, I still think that Tet will be there at 12, but I wouldn't mind Golden either. I just want an X receiver since speed is not just good enough to win the big dance. I think in general, you need, with what you have on this roster, you need someone who is good at something. I need someone who is a good, actual big body wide receiver. I don't have that right now. I need someone who is good after the catch. I don't have that right now beyond CeeDee Lamb. I need someone who is a good vertical threat with speed. I don't have that right now. Again, Lamb can do it. Turpin is more of a short area speed guy. Any of those 3 things work. That's why I like Golden, because he's got speed and is a great route runner. McMillan offers size and has had great production downfield too. That's why I'm not opposed to Burden, because he does a lot of fun yak stuff. But I would not be mad at Golden. I would prefer T-Mac. I think maybe that decision gets made for you in the end. Nick Morissette, I am team trade down. That said, I am more comfortable going with Mingo and Tolbert at 2 than Williams as my number 1 back. Trade down and get Hampton or Hendo. So my counter to this is, I don't disagree actually. Yeah, I think running back. It's a half a dozen of one, 6 of the other. I can get a starting back in the second, in the third. I don't know if I can actually get one of those guys at receiver in the second and third. That's why I'm a little bit more focused on the wide receivers. Like I've got McMillan, Burden, Golden, Nabuka all in my top 30 players this year. I don't have anybody else in my top 50. And then I got kind of a glut at 54 to 74 with some second, early third round grades. But I don't know if those guys are instant twos the way I want them to be. The running backs, meanwhile, they stretch. I've got 10 guys in my top 100. And I've got another 14, 15 guys that I think could be an RB1 for you, with just the depth of this class. Trevor, how about a George Pickens trade? I don't want that in Dallas. Pickens is funny. He's a hilarious football player, but he just does something crazy dumb like every other game. I don't want to go down that path. Pittsburgh got DK Metcalf. Now they want Pickens gone. That's kind of the buzz out there. When was the last time a receiver Pittsburgh didn't want anymore was actually consistently good elsewhere? Kind of like Emmanuel Sanders. I don't want to go down that path. Name a player who you want to trade for. Let me know in the comments section of today's show.